What's up, guys? TJ and Ian here at the Freakopolis Geekery for episode 28 of The Good, the Bad, and the Freaky. This week we're talking American gods, American history, American video games, and more. So stick around after the jump to see our thoughts on this week's nerd news. So we'll kick it off with My Good this week. My Good is American Gods. This is based off a book from 2001 by Neil Gaiman, an American legend. It's now a comic, as well as a show on Starz Network. It premiered over the weekend on Sunday. I thought the premiere of the show was incredible, visceral, super excited for what comes next. Dark Horse has published 2 issues so far, based on the movie and the book. They're all pretty much the same story, and that story is the story of Shadow Moon, the ex-con, who is now the hired muscle for a mysterious Mr. Wednesday, and they come into conflict with these new American gods, sort of like internet celebrity and money and fame. Well, the old gods, such as Thor and Odin and like leprechauns and stuff, they're struggling to maintain their place in the world.
It's a pretty interesting take on an American pantheon of what we have faith in, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's very telling of American culture, for sure, and it's very adult. Make sure, if you're going to watch this, make sure you're in the right place, because there's a lot of blood and gore and adult themes. The book doesn't shy away from that stuff either, but it's so far a really gripping story, and I'm really enjoying it.
Very cool. So my good this week is Atari and Dynamite's Swordquest. I think this is
Issue 0.
Yeah, issue 0, not number 1 yet. And I don't blame them, because they have a great introductory price at 25 cents, and this story follows a huge Atari fan, now 45 years old, who's kind of lost his past, Peter. And his apartment burns down, and through smoke inhalation, he finds out that he has a degenerative lung disease and only about 6 months to live, so kind of a sad story right off the bat.
Definitely.
He moves in with his mother, where he rediscovers his old Atari in the video game Swordquest, which was a real video game in the early 80s, and he remembers a contest about a grand prize, a jewel-encrusted sword, if you answered certain riddles correctly that intertwined with the game and their comic books at the time. This is acknowledged a lot within the book, the history of the game and how it actually existed before now.
There's a lot of references to Swordquest, the original game, for sure, and as well as just 80s culture.
Yeah, if you're nostalgic for those old games, it definitely has a lot of that in the artwork and whatnot.
Yeah, speaking of the artwork, I really enjoyed it. Sort of flat coloring, really heavy, thick outlines. That's the artwork that I really like, so I popped that open and was definitely impressed.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. A good story.
I'm pretty stoked that Dynamite and Image and Valiant, these sort of smaller publishers, are putting out titles with entry-level pricing, 25 cents,
a dollar. That kind of stuff definitely makes all the difference.
For sure. So those are our goods. We don't particularly have any bads this week. There was rumors that Wonder Woman wasn't being promoted, heavily leading up to the first female lead superhero movie, but those were actually unfounded. So I don't know if people are, looking for a reason for this movie to fail or what.
Yeah, they're just looking to stir up something about it because it looks incredible, and I'm sure there's more than enough promotion.
Yeah, it's got trailers out on the internet. She's on, cans of soda and stuff. So I think, most people know it's coming. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I hope people are maintaining their optimism about this movie because I think it looks pretty good.
Likewise.
So we'll move on to our freakies. Your freaky is
Superheroes Decoded, History Channel's documentary, 2 parts. 2 hours apiece, so a good length to these shows, and it is the best history I've seen out of History Channel in over a decade. It actually follows American culture and history throughout the 1900s and how superheroes, a purely American idea, reflect and influence our culture.
Right, so in the 40s they were selling war bonds and fighting Nazis.
Yeah, purely propaganda pieces.
In the 50s they became kind of domesticated and conformist, and then really began to rebel in the 60s and 70s, and it goes really deep into the characters that, represent these American ideals, and it was really a pretty awesome documentary event.
Definitely. It really goes deep into it and reveals just how much these characters reflected the American ideologies of the time.
Yeah, so there was 2 episodes. on April 30th, I think, and May 1st.
Yeah,
They're already passed, but you can get them on demand. Definitely recommend checking them out.
For sure.
Some of the best History Channel has done since, stopping airing World War II constantly all day. So it was really cool to see that and, see our culture on the small screen, as it were.
Yes.
My freaky this week is a trailer for something that's coming to even smaller screens.
Ooh.
The Defenders.
Yeah.
Finally got a full trailer, just this morning, in fact. It shows off our 4 heroes from Manhattan meeting up, arguing, fighting each other, fighting other people, and I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, for sure. I never thought that their first meetup would go that smooth.
No, they're sort of a rough and tumble crew, so yeah, for sure. We also saw Sigourney Weaver. Still don't quite know what character she's playing, but she's definitely a villain, as well as some Defenders staples like Stick, Misty Knight, the Night Nurse.
Yeah.
So just some of these, surrounding characters that really hold the team together.
Plus, wrapping it up with a hallway fight scene.
Yes, very glad to see that Netflix tradition continue in the hallway fight scene. Some of the best scenes that the Defenders have had leading up to this are in the hallway.
Yeah.
We get one this time, too. Definitely looks like they're setting up Elektra to be a pretty major villain.
Cool.
Yeah, she's coming back from Daredevil Season 2, and she looks meaner than ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, definitely check that out. Looking forward to the release on August 18th, I believe. So, for sure. And that'll do it for this week's The Good, the Bad, and the Freaky. Thank you guys so much. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps us so much continue making these videos. Or better yet, stop down at the Geekery in Whitehall, New York. We'd love to talk comics, or movies, or games, any of the above. Thanks, guys.